I made this little vignette card file for the newest Idea-Ology release by Tim Holtz, and in this video I would like to give you a flip through all of these little pockets and cards and ephemera pieces. The main idea behind this box is to show different ideas what you can do with postage stamps. And the cool thing is, even if you don't have real postage stamps, then the newest Idea-Ology release has a sticker book with postage stamp stickers. That is just amazing, and they look absolutely real. I will go into detail about that in a second. And of course, you can do all of the ideas that are shown on these little cards and pockets also in a junk journal. So that doesn't have to be loose ephemera like this is here. As you can see, you can do all of these ideas in a like normal bound junk journal as well. Hi there, this is Luisa Heinzel, today with little stained fingers because I just finished this and some other things that are now really close to, going into a box and then be shipped to Tim. So please excuse, I hope this doesn't bother you, but this is how artists' fingers look sometimes. So this is my box. Perhaps you have seen this already in Tim's live video. If not, and if you're interested in seeing that and watching the video and also seeing the makes of the other makers, then you can find a link to the live video down below in the description box. You can also find a whole blog post with really, really detailed photos about this make on my website. The link is also down below in the description box, and there you can also find the product package photos so that you can see how these things look, when they come right from the package when you buy them. And there are also links where you can purchase them. All of my affiliate links from the blog post go to Simon Says Stamp, so that you can, of course, buy them there. And with doing that, you support my channel because I get a little, amount of money from Simon. So I really appreciate, of course, when you do that and purchase via that link. And thank you very much for all of you who have already done that. That really helps to, continue what I'm doing here. Yeah, so that is a really, really great thing. Thank you for that. So let's go into this. I have the feeling that I missed something. The stamps. Let's first take a look at this first thing here. So that is one example of how amazing these stamps are. When I saw them for the first time and when Tim said that there's a sticker book with postage stamps, I was like nearly freaking out because postage stamps, I mean, that is a really cool thing, not only for ephemera, but also, of course, for junk journal pages and embellishments and all of that stuff. And when I saw them, I mean, when he has shown them to us, I could only see them on my computer screen. And I was like, oh my goodness, they look so real. If they look in reality as real as they looked during the Zoom when he showed them to us, I'm struggling with my words, because when I then got them and I have taken them out of the package, I was like, how is it possible that they look so real? The surface is like medium matte, as you can see here. I try to get an angle from my light so that you can see that. They look like real postage stamps. So cool. Some of them also have like postmark fragments on them or a little like dirt. These are really pretty clean, I would say. I have put some ink on here so that they look a little older, but very, very many of them do have some, how does Tim always say, schmatz on them. I think that's the word. And that is really cool because, you can use them like they are. And the fact that they are stickers is, of course, really cool. So, that is one idea, to show different, possibilities to use postage stamps on ephemera or in junk journals. But the other idea behind this was to cut the file cards so that they get bigger to the back. So they start relatively small here, and then this whole thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so that when this is in your shelf, this looks a little weird, but perhaps you can imagine that this is in your shelf and you look from here to this whole box, then you can see a little bit of each card or each envelope, let's say a little bit of each ephemera piece in here, so that you have a better overview over everything. And I don't know if anyone else has done that before, cutting these cards. If yes, please leave a comment and show me how the person has done it. Yeah, perhaps you have a link or YouTube video, blog post or whatever, because I would be really interested how other people have done that, if that has been done before. I don't say that I don't like when everything has the same size, but this was also, you know, I can't say more fun, because this is my first vignette card file I ever made, but I had the feeling that I had more playing room somehow, because the surfaces are not all the same size. Yeah, so perhaps that makes sense if I show you the single pieces here. So let's start with this little pocket here. This is also cut. The original size of this pocket is like this. So I show you this from the back so that you can compare the height. And I've just cut this so that it is smaller and that it can be the first piece here in the front. And this holds 3 different things. On this first little card here, I have just made this little tab. This you could also, of course, use as a page tab, this idea, on a junk journal page, or for example on a bigger tag or a journaling card which you want to take out from a belly band or a pocket. It's just made from some fabric, some lace, the postage stamp itself. I've just stapled this on here, and this is one of the little bouquet flowers in the original color, meaning white. I really love these flowers in white, even if you could of course also color them with different mediums, for example distress ink or spray or oxide spray or paint or whatever, but I love them in white. And this little piece here is from the sticker, from the sticker book as well. This is where this little spiral metal thing, you know, where you can flip the booklet, was in. I've just taken that out so that I was able to tear this off, and now I have these little like round half and full holes there. I don't know if you can see that, but what I'm trying to say, or what I was trying to show here, is that you of course can use the leftovers from the empty sticker book later on as well. Yeah, so include that into your collages and be happy. So then we have these little guys here. By the way, the collage strips, which you perhaps know from the past from Idea-Ology, are now available in a bigger size and a bigger scale. Really cool. And what you can see here in the background, oh, excuse me, is just a piece of one of the collage strips, and then I've added these postage stamps, a little small talk sticker, and this paper doll, and this little tag is ready to go. I really like these tiny things where you have you know, only a few elements, like also for example here on this tag. This is just one of the Idea-Ology tags, and I've taken this little snippet piece and the postage stamp with some additional stamping here in the background to fill these blank spaces, and then this tag is ready to go, and you have some journaling space on the back, for example for a date or a caption or something like that. The same here. I've made this really simple collage here on the back, but I think this looks really, really nice. This is just some stenciling. The photos here are also updated, so with the new release you get new photos. You know, there are always 3 of these photos on one of these strips, and there are really, really cool new photos. It's just amazing. I always think, what have the people shown on the photos done in their lives? Who are they? And that is always so interesting to go through those photos and knowing that these have been original vintage photos, and that someone has had them in a photo album, for example, before they then turned into an ideology piece. That is it's so interesting. And it's, yeah, you know, you can hear I love these photos. With the new release, there also come these paper strips, really cool because they are pre-cut. So this is the original width of the strips, and they are originally longer. Then you can cut them to the right size, which you need for your project. And the cool thing is you don't have to destroy your backdrops or something like that for just a little strip of collage material. Really, really good idea. Thank you, Tim. If you perhaps are watching, that was, in my eyes, that's just genius, because we need those tiny pieces so often. And when you then have, you know, have to take a piece of backdrop, for example, or a full, you know, a full sheet of backdrop, and then you have to cut off these strips, then you are left with a piece of paper. Yes, of course, we can use that. We are junk journaler. We don't have a problem with using that. The rest, I mean, but that's sometimes annoying, because when you have cut, you know, one single strip off from the backdrop, then the rest sometimes doesn't fit to the other ideology pieces, you know. They are, you know, Tim and his team has thought about how big the single pieces are, and sometimes the papers and also the other things fit perfectly to different surfaces and different structures. And when you then have cut the backdrop, then, you know, it doesn't fit anymore. It's not that kind of, you know, big problem, but, you know, it's some kind of a problem. Sometimes it can be a problem. Let's say it like that. So here I made a little, this shall be a part of a postage stamp album. This originally was an accordion piece, which also comes with the new file cards. But I have manipulated this a little bit. I have cut this off. So originally this is longer. The original size of that is like this, but I wanted to have different sizes, as I already told you. So I've just cut this, and I have made that into this little like book, which shall be a part of a postage stamp album. And I've done that by just gluing this little tape, which also comes with the new release, around here. So normally, if you would have this without the tape, I could, you know, open this, and then this would be just like an accordion piece, you know. So that you could also, of course, if you don't want to do something like this, decorate the back as well. And then you could also display that somewhere in your shelf. This is also, you know, you could also stand it like this, and then you can see into these little pages here. But I just wanted to let you know that this is originally an accordion piece, yeah. But now it's a little postage stamp album. And as you can see, this woman who collected the postage stamps, she also likes mushrooms, and she also likes to put other things into her postage stamp album. Not only postage stamps, but also tiny other pieces. So meaning I have taken some of the curator snippets and also the number strips and some stamping, you know, which is perhaps not so realistic, but I wanted to have something like an artsy postage stamp album thingy, tiny thing, you know. Then I have also this little bird on here, just attached with this bulb pin. Oh, I think in the ideology line they are not called bulb pins, they are called, how are they called? I don't know. I don't know. But it's basically a bulb pin. It's sometimes hard to remember all of those names of the single products. So that's also why I have a blog post on my website where you can find all of the information and also the names of the single products. And when you see the photos there, you can immediately see what I have used here, because, you know, then you can see the package and you can see what it was before it went through my hands. So what you can see here, is basically one of the first ideas I had, and something that I wanted to do immediately after I saw this postage stamp sticker book. The paper dolls come now in a medium size as well. Perhaps you know we had the normal sized paper dolls, then we had the portraits, and we had the like tiny mini paper dolls, and now they made them in like this medium size. I really like that because for some ephemera pieces like tags, or imagine this was a journaling card, I mean this is an envelope, yeah, for little envelopes, sometimes the big paper dolls are too big and the small mini paper dolls are too tiny, and this is just the perfect size. I've cut a little bit here because of the size of the envelope, but as you can see, the image still makes sense. And in my eyes, it doesn't matter if they don't have feet anymore. But what I actually wanted to say is the idea with having this head on the paper doll, the head of from the postage stamp, that was one of the first ideas I had, and I think this turned out really, really nice. I think this is really funny as well. In the background here you can see some of the new collage paper, which comes now in sheets instead of this roll that we know. Really easy to handle. I think that was a really great idea to have that in sheets. You can also lay that then to your table and see everything better. I really like that. I mean, the rolls have been great, but you know, when you take that off from the roll, then you perhaps want to have only a tiny piece and you have to cut that out, then you have to roll back the rest to the roll and you have some flimsy and, you know, weird stuff. And this is really, I think this is really handy with the collage paper in, you know, this rectangled shape. Here I made a little cluster also with one of the postage stamps, and please look how real this looks. I mean, if I wouldn't know that this is a sticker, I would think that this is a real postage stamp. This is unbelievable. And also, you know, these used areas and this little schmutz, if that's the right word, that is just amazing. Here I have taken the postage stamp and backed that with some heavier paper so that I have this really sturdy little thing here so that I can take it here and open this. Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry. Here on this side, I have also backed the postage stamp with some paper to make sure that when I glue the postage stamp, I can't see the shape of the paper doll through it. Yeah, because I mean, the postage stamp stickers are really, really sturdy. It's a really thick sticker material. But if I would glue them onto a paper doll and, you know, rub with my finger over them so that they stick really well, then probably the shape of the paper doll would come through the postage stamp. And to avoid that, I have backed that with some paper, and that also makes this little tiny distance. It's just the tiniest bit. I mean, it's as much as the paper is thick, yeah, but that gives it also, how can I show that to you, more dimension, so that, yeah, it looks a little raised, and the paper dolls are a little thicker as well, so that they are dimensional somehow as well, even without foam tape or something, so that the postage stamp also pops into your eye when you look at this. In here, there's a little card with a really simple collage made out of 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. But I really like this, and I really like this tape. This is just so cool. It sticks to any surface. It sticks so well, and it's just, you know, really thin. A little bit glossy, but not too much, as you can see here. And it looks so real, and it makes everything vintage just by, you know, putting it on there, and then it looks really like yeah, an old photo which was taped, or here on the envelope I've also put that here over the collage paper to also show how the color comes out when it's over this black and white gray scale paper. I don't know how I can say that, but that looks absolutely fantastic. It's of course translucent, as you can see here, so that you can see everything through it. no matter where you stick it. Ah, wonderful. Then I have this little thing here. I've just taken one of these photos. These are a little older, but I wanted to have something that also can represent something that we would or could do in a junk journal as well. I have made this little ruffle here. You can imagine to have this, for example, on a cover, like, you know, if you want to have this as the title of the journal, for example, then you would probably take a bigger photo if you have, you know, but that depends on the size of the journal, Louise. If it's a small journal, yeah, then you could take something like this and put that to the cover. You will later on see I have made this on bigger photos as well, so that you could also take that like a journal cover topper. I think that's a word that we use in the junk journal terms, don't we? Hopefully you know what I mean. Then we have this little guy here. So in the new file cards, there is this little pocket here, which already has this hole, really, really cool, and this little notch here. So this comes like, you know, naked, and then you can decorate that. I've taken one of these frames here, and each of my pockets which have this hole have the same elements. You will see that later, that they have the same elements but with little variations. So this frame here is here really straight on the pocket. The collage strips are in the background, and we have this little lens here, and of course the hole, which is also an element, I would say, of this pocket. And on the back I have also, you know, just this little collage, which is the same on both of the others that have this shape. I will show you in a second on the other pockets like this how I have done that, and how I also have manipulated these to get this illusion, no, not illusion, it's not an illusion, it is a fact, that, you know, the cards here are smaller than in the back, because, you know, when you have something like this, to get it smaller, that is not a problem. You can just cut something off, like I've done it also here, for example, with this little thing. Yeah, just cut something off. But what to do if you want to have that in a bigger size? You will see in a second how I managed that. But I wanted to talk about this little lens here, because here I have done a little thing with the package of the lenses. These come in a pack of 2. And perhaps you know the Idea-Ology packaging. There's something like a harder, you know, cardboard material in the back. And then there's an acetate in the front. And in between of those, there are the little products, yeah, for example, the lenses. And especially with those things that have holes, the acetate has the shape of the hole, and it's like curved, so that you can have something like this here in your lens. Perhaps you're wondering why this is only half. Can you see it looks like a half moon? That is the package. There where my finger is, that is the part of the package. But it ends here. And there where this glossiness is, there's just some glossy accents in there. This stuff. So that it is also glossy there, because the package is smaller than the round thing here in this case. The second piece of the package is here in this lens, and as you can see, it has this little hill here that looks nearly like a bubble or something, so meaning the acetate is not flat there. That is because I have just cut the acetate from the package to put it in here. And why have I done that? Because, you know, it's easy peasy. It is raised. You can even put some shakety shake elements in here, as you can see. And it has exactly the right size, meaning this like glass, fake glass, is raised, and it has, can you see this little slot here? So that fits, of course, perfectly in there, because this is what the package has to hold the lenses in the right place in the package. And because of that, this is perfect to include that there. meaning don't throw your packages away, but do something like this. And this is only half, because in the package the lenses have been over each other somehow like this. Not exactly like this. I can't hold it because, you know, this is in the way. But because of that, the edge of this lens was here around this little hill, and that is why the hill is here. Do you know what I mean? So that they can't move in the package. And I think, but that is only my opinion, that this is way more interesting than just using a flat piece of acetate, because this is raised. It has this little slot here. If you would use a round piece of acetate, then it would just be flat. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You can have this without spending additional money, because you get that with your package. Yeah. So this little card goes then into this little envelope. This is how it looks from the back. The postage stamps here are just left over from one of the other cards I made. You will see in a second another flower, same shape like this here. This is a Sizzix and Tim Holtz die cut, one of the wildflowers. And I have cut that out from this material here. I've just glued the postage stamps to some watercolor paper, and then I've cut the flower out to get the postage stamps to the flower. And then I had this left over, so I have cut a second flower in black and just puzzled that in here, so that then now this is completely flat. Yeah, so that the flower is in this little negative shape there, so that you then don't have any problems if you want to put this in here, so that this can't be destroyed when you put this in here, and then it's in there. I hope you like that. So let's come to the second section here. It starts with, again, this little like postage stamp album thingy. This man who collected these postage stamps liked pink and purple really, really much, as you can see. And because this is a little higher than the one you've just seen, this has 2 rows of postage stamps. This, by the way, which shall imitate these little, you know, pockets in a postage stamp album, I made from some really thin paper. This is just ironed on a how is that called, on a towel, so that it gets this little texture there. Can you see that? And I've put some oxide spray and spray stain on the paper, and then I've ironed it again so that I get this vintage look here. I think I will make a separate video about how I have done that, because that was, to be honest, it was a little happy accident, because the paper originally was really like new and really flat without this texture, and then it had some folds in it, and I just wanted to iron it so that the folds go away, and I had a towel there, and when I put my iron to the paper, it got this texture, and that looks really cool, I think. So if you're interested in seeing how I exactly have done that and how the paper was looking before I ironed it, then please let me know. I'm happy to make a tutorial about that, because it's just, yeah, easy peasy. You need 10 seconds to do that. I think if I want to show that to you, that is going to become the shortest tutorial on this channel. But if you're interested, please let me know. So this little tiny clip here, also an Idea-Ology clip, holds this together. Then here we have another envelope. This is now the original size of the envelope. And yeah, here, this envelope I have cut shorter. So as you can see, this is, have I said that before? I'm not so sure. I'm so sorry. I've just recorded my German video, and I've already talked about this for an hour or so in German, and now I have problems to remember what I said already and what not. So this is the original size of the envelope, and this I have cut shorter to make sure that, you know, it fits in here and that it is not too long for the cards in the front here. Do you perhaps want to go in here? What is going on here? Thank you very much. So here we have another paper doll with the head here from the postage stamp. And oh my goodness, now you will laugh about me, because if you follow my channel, you know that I love these letters here. They are now in a smaller scale available with the new release. I really like them, but as you perhaps know, these, you know, the older ones were bigger, and they are really hard to get here in Austria. And when I got some of these from Juliana Michaels, we made a 5-item swap a while ago, and she has sent me some of these, and I was like freaking out when I saw them. And then some of you have also sent these letters to me, and in the meantime I have a ton of those, because I got some from Tim, you know, the bigger ones from the older releases as well, and now I have these in the smaller scale, and I can I think I can make like a really large piece with only these little letters, because I have so many of them. But do you know what? I didn't know that they are supposed to I'm so embarrassed, because that is just, yeah, it's just, you know, you can't know everything, but if you have something like this and you like it, then you should know how to use it. So I had these, and I was in love with this golden color, with the letters, with the size, with this little schmutz which is already on them. I like that you can alter them with alcohol ink, but I always use them and let them air dry. Yeah, no matter what I have put on them, I have let them air dry. And for this project, you know, you have no time, you have to make this, you are in a flow, and then you put something on here. I mean, this is the original piece, here's nothing on it, but on another piece where I tested some grit paste and alcohol ink and how that looks, I have put the mediums on top, and then I used my heat gun. And when I hold my heat gun over the piece, I was like, what the heck is happening here? The glossiness went away. It's like medium matte then, so it's way more glossy when it comes from the package, and the color changes, and the letter gets totally dimensional. Can you see that? Can you see this little, I don't know how I can say that in English. I don't even know how to say that in German, but it gets dimensional somehow. Can you see that? It gets like an outline or something, but that is because this is melting when you put your heat gun on top, and then this looks like this, and it is supposed to do that. Did you know that? I mean, did you know that? I was like, what is happening here? And then I was confused, and I thought I did something wrong. So I messaged Tim, and I said, Tim, please, what am I doing here? Is this normal, or what's happening here? And in the first moment, he couldn't understand what I'm talking about, because of course he has the knowledge what should happen with these pieces, and that you shall heat them up, yes, that you shall like emboss them. And then you know, this little coin in his brain has fallen down, and he was like, oh my goodness, now I know what you are talking about. Yes, it's supposed that it shall do something like this, yeah. And with alcohol ink on this, when you heat it up, the color of the alcohol ink changes completely. But I didn't know that. I had these and I didn't know that. And then I already thought that my, you know, the part of my brain where all of the techniques and demos from Tim's channel are saved, that something is like going wrong with that part of my brain. And I said, I can't remember that you, the video where you have demoed these. And then he was like, I have never demoed it, so there is no video. And that made me calm down a little bit, because I already thought that something with my brain is, you know, weird. But if you're interested in seeing this, and if you also perhaps, I mean, I would feel not so alone if you would tell me that you also haven't known that. Perhaps if you want to see how that is done and how they look, you know, compared to the original stage of this, let me know. Yeah, I can show you how I do that, and I mean, it's easy. So it would also be a really short tutorial, but I could also show you, of course, how you could alter them with, for example, texture paste or grit paste or alcohol ink. If you want to see that, let me know. So here is one of the other two pockets which have the hole and this opening and the notch here. And as you can see, this looks totally different compared to this one, because it has, yeah, the illusion that it is a different size, even if it's the same size, as you can see. But here's a tag in it so that it looks bigger, because this card here in the right one is just the same size like the little pocket, and the tag is a little longer, so that we get this illusion that this whole thing is bigger. The frame here I've attached not straight like on the other one, but in this little angle, so that I have the possibility to put this little postage stamp charm on here, which I also made with one of the postage stamp stickers, just some heavy paper in the back, so that when the glossy accents I put on here dries, you know, it shrinks a little bit. And sometimes when you use paper which is not heavy enough, then it can happen that your piece doesn't stay flat. So I've just glued that on top of each other, and then I've used some glossy accents, put that there, and a few hours later I had this little thing. By the way, before I added the glossy accents, I've attached the eyelet so that I, you know, already had the hole in this thing to be able to put this here with this little clip. The tag is just, you know, cut into the size so that it fits into the pocket, but a little longer, so that this, I wanted that this here is like, you know, when it's in there, it's approximately like this, so that this is like a little nest for this. I think that looks really interesting with the notch and this round thing there. And this is the flower I explained before. So this is like the positive piece of this other thing, you know, the other card with the black flower. I've just glued the postage stamps to some watercolor paper, cut this out with the die cut, and then I've cut a second layer in white so that the color pops out a little better on this tag. Here on the back we have some journaling space. So then this can go in here. Let's just take these little guys out. And I have to say, I mean, perhaps you have already noticed that this is really, compared to my other projects, I mean, what I normally do, this is really colorful, isn't it? It doesn't have so much grunge like other projects have, but I really enjoyed working with these colors. And also I really enjoyed making like simple things like this, for example. I mean, this is made with some stenciling on this tag. This is an Idea-Ology tag as well. I use this strip which comes in this width, and I've just cut it to the right length. I've sanded the photo, inked the photo, and put the postage stamp here, and I have a nice collage. And I really enjoyed these simple things. And yeah, this was really, really nice. Also having all of these different sizes, different shapes of the single pieces, that is just amazing. And when you have finished this, you have a whole bunch of ephemera. And of course, you could also take these things, collect them in this box, and then later when you make a journal, you can take them out and put them to your journal pages and use this as like a storage for pre-made ephemera. And that is really nice, I think. Here I've put this tab idea to a flashcard, as you can see. As I said, I think I already said that you could use this on a journal page as well, or on like a tag or a journaling card where you need something to take it out from a pocket or something like that. So this can go in here. This can go in here. And where does this belong? I think here. So then here's a little bigger photo. So I've just talked about using this as a journal cover piece, like a journal cover topper. So here you can see when it's bigger how it then looks, meaning you could of course put this to a smaller journal and this to a bigger journal. Yeah, so the proportion is of course a little different, but I think you got me. So then here in the last section of this box, we have here this little accordion thingy, which I turned into a postage stamp album in the original size. So it has this height. Here I used a bigger clip because, you know, a bigger piece, bigger clip. And I have put 2 of my little postage stamp charms on here. I like this noise. And the cool thing is, with these holes, of course, you have the possibility to also put other things in here. Please imagine some broken jewelry, or perhaps you had a bracelet which is broken or which you don't wear anymore. Then you could, of course, attach that here additionally. I mean, you know, this is a make for ideology, so I wanted to show the ideology products, of course. That is my task when I do something like this. But, you know, if I would do this, like, you could do this, for example, after a holiday. Yeah, perhaps you remember my travel journal in a box about Rome. That is something similar with elements that I have collected during my vacation in Rome. And imagine you have something like that, then of course you would have also other elements, others than only ideology elements. And why am I telling you that? I just want to give you ideas what you additionally could add to something like this, and I want to explain why I haven't done it here. It's also something about shipping, of course. You know, I have to take this in a second, wrap everything into bubble wrapping, and then ship that to Tim. And I'm always a little afraid if I put too many things that are sticking out that I can't handle the shipping or that something could be destroyed. So that is why this is so simple. Do you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that you can't add more things. And these holes give you the possibility to always add more. Yeah, if you find something that is interesting that you want to put there, then please attach that there. And that is also, of course, a cool thing about ideology, because you can combine the ideology things with so many, like, for example, real vintage things from your reality, from flea markets or whatever. I mean, ideology is inspired by vintage things. Yeah, that is the idea behind ideology, of course. But the cool thing is that the things look so authentically real that imagine you would combine these with real postage stamps. Yeah, you could have this as surfaces for real postage stamps, and you could add more and more and more from flea markets or whatever, and you would never see that these are stickers and that your postage stamps are real. Do you know what I mean? And that is, in my eyes, that is just fascinating about the ideology products. I'm always really amazed. Then we have this little yellow tag here. As you can see, I repeated my ideas here so that this also gets something like a cohesive and harmonious look. And the good thing is, if you repeat things, you can also practice the techniques that you have done on those pieces. And yeah, sometimes I have this feeling, you know, if you make, what is this? Why can't I put it in there? It's so easy, Louisa. Just put it in there. Sometimes when I make, for example, a single tag, and I have tried out, for example, a collage technique, then I have the one single tag, and after that I probably do something else, yeah, because I have other things to do, and I do something different. Or also with these envelopes, different sizes with the same idea. You can see here's this postage stamp idea on the paper doll again, but this has a different size. Why? The envelope is open and there's a tag inside so that the envelope is longer, because, you know, the cards and ephemera pieces get bigger to the back here. And having 3 of these envelopes and trying this idea on 3 different sizes was really helpful, and I learned a lot about proportion, how I have to arrange that so that it works on all of the 3 pieces, and I have practiced this at the same time. Do you know what I mean? And that is really cool about these card files, because you have 3 of each, so that you can, yeah, practice what you are doing there. That is really cool. So this is supposed to look like an envelope which is open. Hopefully you can see that. I have just made the flap here stiff. Here's just some collage paper, which is really thin, so that would not be enough to make this stiff. So I've just put a piece of backdrop in here so that this now can't close, because of course the fold is in here. When you buy these file cards, then the fold is in here and it would always like go to the other side. But this way it's completely stiff. And then I have made this little tag, and I have cut this here in the shape of the envelope. I've just put that in here. I've cut it to the right width and the right length. And then I've traced the shape of this to this, made that a little, you know, smaller, so that it gets like nearly parallel, or yeah, it's, you can see, it's parallel-ish. But I wanted to have this like the same shape like the flap here. Then we have this. Same idea like on the others. And then last but not least, we have this, and this is also made with this pocket thing. As you can see, I try to hold it here in one line. It's the same size, but it looks like it's way bigger, and that's because I've just cut this pocket open here just by taking it, and I've, you know, made that with my guillotine trimmer. I've just cut the tiniest piece off here so that it got open here, and now it's like a belly band over this tag, so that you can, you know, slide this off. Then you have the tag here, some journaling space or whatever you want, collage space on the back. And then you have this piece. You could also take this and, you know, replace the tag or put something else in there. You could add some journaling here in the back. And then this goes just over here. And this is, you know, a possibility to make this longer if you also want to do this idea of having different sizes of the file cards. Here I made another little dangle. And by the way, you could also do the easiest thing and just fold a postage stamp in half and use that as a little tab somewhere. Doesn't have to be on such a frame. You could also imagine this on a journal page, for example, as little page tabs or something. Yeah, here's the second lens. We've already talked about that. This is, by the way, altered with some grit paste crypt. Yes, grit paste crypt. Sorry, I was not so sure if that is true, but it is true. Some alcohol ink, and, you know, then it looks like this. Really cool. I really like these. These have also a really nice size, I think, for journal covers. I mean, it's always depending on how big the journal is, of course, but this is, you know, if I put my fingers on here, you can perhaps see how big it is. It's not tiny, but it's not giant as well. So that is a really nice size, I would say. Yo, so that's it. The box itself, I have. Oh, let me just take this out. It's so hard to show that in the camera because I have to hold it in an angle so that you can see it, and then I have the danger of having everything falling out. So here I've used these golden letters as well, and I have embossed them because they are supposed to be embossed. Holy crap. I think I haven't had any sleep after that happened to me. In the night after that, I was like, you know, not sleeping but dreaming. Do you know that when you can't sleep but you dream something and you have some, how is that said in English? Dare dreams, I think is the word, even if you're not sleeping. I was so embarrassed that I didn't know that. But yeah, now, as you can see, this box is covered in these pieces here, in these little letters. And the box, if you don't know that, originally looks like this brown wood. You can paint that, you can glue things on top or whatever you want. And I've first glued the postage stamps here, then the golden things here, and then I have sanded them a little bit. You can see these little scratches, Then I have embossed them, or did I first add the crypt paste? I'm not totally sure, but I think that doesn't matter. What I wanted to have is that you can see the postage stamps through the cutout letters here. I think that looks really interesting, and it's also really easy to do, but you know, easy but great effect, I would say. Grit paste crypt, alcohol ink, and some gilding wax makes this look a little slimy and old, but elegant at the same time. These nails here are also from Idea-Ology. They are just decoration, so they don't hold the box together, but they are just decoration. And the cool thing is that these letters and the numbers have a size that you can puzzle them together so that they fit to the sides of this box. So I didn't have to cut off something from the material, which is really, really handy, I think. This is how the box looks from the front. This wonderful flower is also from the new release. And when you buy the box, then the handle is already attached with these little screws. So one screw is here and another one is here, but you can't see that now because the flower is on top of the screw. But you can take a really small screwdriver and take the screws out, remove the handle so that you then can alter that, which I've done here with some acrylic paint, some alcohol ink, and some golden wax and a sanding disc, sandpaper. And you can do that, then let that dry, decorate the box, and then put the handle back with the help of these screws. They are long enough, by the way, to go through this pretty thick material of the letters here. I can hold that against the light so that you can perhaps see that. Can you see that the material from the letter is really thick, but the screw is still long enough to hold this? And that is amazing because I don't know where to find such small screws to get that into the box material, do you know? And the box itself is relatively thick, I would say, so that you also could, of course, hammer some additional things like nails or anything else that you like in here, so that it is, you know, sturdy in here, but that it doesn't come through the material. These little guys here are also from the new release. There are different sizes available. These are glued down, so they don't have, you know, they are not screwed. What is the past of screw? Screw? You know, you don't have to take a screwdriver and screw them into the material because they are just glued. It's just the head of the screws. The longer, the more often I say screw, I have the feeling that screw is not the right word, but I think it is. Holy cow. Yeah, so that's it. If you want to see detailed photos and, like, you know, a behind the scenes process photo series, then please visit my blog. The direct link to the blog post is down below in the description box. If you have any questions, then please let me know in the comments. Of course, I'm happy to read a comment without a question as well. And hopefully we will see the next time. This will go into a package and it will go to Tim now. And oh, did I say that the live link video from Tim's live is also in the description box? So if you have seen this in the live, you know, I record this video directly before I send this to Tim, but when you see it, it's of course already after the live. If you want to see the live, the link is down below in the description box as well. So that's it. I will put this into my package now. I'm so excited. So see you the next time and have a very great and creative day. Bye bye.